She told me nothing happened, but I found a calendar with her name and his circled dates. I stared at the calendar on her desk, frozen in place. My hands were clammy, my pulse pounding in my ears. It wasn't even the dates themselves that made my stomach drop. It was the fact that they were circled. Her name was written next to them, in her handwriting. Friday, March 5th, Saturday, March 12th, Thursday, March 18th. These weren't random dates. These were dates where she had been with him. I didn't need to know the details to understand that. I felt my breath catch in my throat, and suddenly it was hard to breathe at all. The calendar that had once been a benign part of our home now felt like a damn map, leading to a betrayal I hadn't wanted to see. I wanted to slam it shut, erase it from existence, but I couldn't. My fingers trembled as I traced the dates, as if doing so would somehow confirm what my gut had already told me. She had lied. Again. I heard the door open behind me, and I quickly spun around, shoving the calendar back in its place, hoping she hadn't noticed the way my hand was shaking. But there she was, standing in the doorway of our bedroom, looking at me like nothing had changed, like everything was still normal. She wasn't even trying to hide it. She just walked in like she hadn't been seeing someone else behind my back. "Hey," she said, her voice light, almost carefree. "What are you up to?" I stood there for a second, just staring at her. The woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew. The woman who had promised me everything, only to be caught with a calendar that held secrets I didn't want to know. I couldn't speak at first. My mouth was dry, and I felt sick to my stomach. Finally, I found my voice. Nothing, just looking at the calendar. I forced a laugh, but it came out as a dry, painful rasp. "You've been busy." Her face faltered for a fraction of a second. Just long enough for me to catch it, but she quickly recovered. "Yeah, work has been crazy. You know how it is." I nodded slowly, my mind still whirling. "Yeah, I know." She walked into the room, setting her bag down on the bed. "How was your day?" I didn't answer right away. My eyes were still fixed on the calendar, my mind piecing together the fragments of truth I hadn't wanted to acknowledge. "The dates," I finally said, my voice quieter now. "They're circled." She froze. For a moment, I thought I saw her face change again, but it was too quick to be sure. She recovered quickly, just like before. "Oh, those? Yeah, just some work stuff. Nothing big." I took a step closer, feeling the weight of the words I had to say. "Really?" I said, my voice shaking now. "Because it's funny. I don't remember you ever telling me about these work dates." Her eyes flickered, but she didn't look at me. Instead, she busied herself with unpacking her things. "I didn't think you'd be interested." "It's nothing, really. Nothing." That word again. The same word she'd used when I'd asked her if she'd been with him, if anything had happened. Nothing. But now I knew it was a lie. I could feel in my gut. It was like everything I thought I knew about her was cracking apart at the seams. "I know what's going on, Sarah," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. The words felt like they were coming from somewhere deep inside of me, a part of me I try to bury. "I found the calendar. You don't have to lie anymore." For a long moment, she didn't speak. The silence stretched between us like an unbearable weight. I could hear her breathing, quick and shallow, but she didn't say anything. Then finally, she looked up at me, her face pale. "Ben, it's not what you think. We've been together for almost 3 years. We met in college." She was the kind of girl I always thought was out of my league. She had this energy about her, this charisma that made everyone want to be around her. I was the shy, quiet guy who kept to himself, but somehow when I met Sarah, everything changed. She made me feel seen. She made me feel like I mattered. And for 2.5 years, I truly believed I was the most important person in her life. We moved in together about a year ago, and things were going great, or so I thought. Sure, we had our ups and downs, but who doesn't? I thought we were building something real. We talked about the future, getting married, traveling the world, having a family. We had all these plans, and I thought we were on the same page. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. She started pulling away, not in a dramatic way, but in subtle little ways. She'd spend more time at work, take longer to answer texts, cancel plans with me last minute. I tried to tell myself I was overthinking it, that maybe I was just being paranoid. But then I found the calendar. I still couldn't wrap my mind around it. The dates, the trip, her name next to his. She told me she was stressed with work, that everything had been so busy. But it was hard to reconcile that with the cold reality in front of me. What kind of work event requires you to take weekend trips out of town? What kind of work event would have you lying about where you were going? I tried to put the pieces together in my mind, but I couldn't. All I knew was that something wasn't right, and the fact that she was standing in front of me, still denying it, still pretending nothing was happening, it made me feel like I was losing my mind. "Nothing happened, Ben," she said again, her voice pleading now, like she was trying to convince both me and herself. "Please, I love you. I'm not doing anything behind your back." I shook my head, a bitter laugh escaping me. "How am I supposed to believe you, Sarah? You've been lying to me for months. How do I know you're not lying now?" She bit her lip, tears welling up in her eyes. "I'm not lying. I swear, nothing happened. It was just, I was confused, okay? I didn't know how to handle it, and I didn't want to hurt you." I closed my eyes, trying to keep the tears at bay. I couldn't cry. Not now. Not in front of her. I didn't even know what I felt anymore. Anger, betrayal, heartbreak. It was all tangled together, making it impossible to think clearly. I wanted answers, but I didn't even know what questions to ask. "Who is he?" I finally managed to say, my voice hoarse. "Just tell me the truth. Who is he?" She looked away, biting her lip. I could see her debating whether to say it, to admit what I already knew. Finally, she sighed, her shoulders sagging. "His name is Jake. He's just someone I met through work. It wasn't anything serious, Ben. I never meant for it to get this far." I felt my heart drop. Jake, the guy she'd been seeing while I was in the dark. The guy she'd made plans with. The guy who had his name next to the circled dates. "So, this whole time, while you were telling me everything was fine, you were seeing him? You were planning things with him?" "I didn't want to hurt you," she said, her voice almost a whisper. "I swear, I didn't know how to tell you. I thought I could fix it without you finding out, but I was wrong." I laughed again, though it wasn't funny at all. "You thought you could fix it? You thought hiding it would make it go away?" "I'm sorry," she said, crying now. "I'm so sorry, Ben." But I couldn't hear her apologies anymore. The words didn't matter. The damage had already been done. I stood up, walking to the door. "I don't think I can do this anymore," I said, my voice breaking. "I don't think I can be here, pretending this isn't happening." Sarah reached out for me, but I pulled away. "Please, don't leave me. I love you, Ben." But I was already halfway out the door. "I wish you had loved me enough not to do this," I said, closing the door behind me. I don't know what happens next. Part of me still wants to believe she's telling the truth, that she made a mistake, that we can fix this. But I'm not sure I can trust her anymore. How do you rebuild from something like this? I thought we had a future together, but now I'm not sure where we stand, or if I even know who she is anymore. Has anyone else been through something like this? How do you even begin to move forward when you feel like everything you thought was real is just gone? Part 2. The drive home was one of the longest of my life. I barely even remember the route, just the tightness in my chest that made it feel like I was suffocating with each mile. My hands gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles white, my mind repeating the same questions on loop. How did this happen? Why did she lie to me? I couldn't go back to our apartment. Not yet. The thought of seeing her there, of being in that space that used to feel like home, felt suffocating. It wasn't just the betrayal. It was the sheer weight of everything that had been taken from me. The trust, the shared future, the quiet understanding that we were a team, and now I was standing on the edge of something I wasn't sure I could survive. I called my brother, trying to keep my voice steady as I asked if I could crash at his place for a while. "Yeah, of course, man. Come over," he said, concern obvious in his tone. I could feel his worry even through the phone, but I wasn't ready to tell him the full story. Not yet. I wasn't sure how to explain this to anyone. When I finally made it to his place, I barely even registered the words he said when he opened the door. I just walked in, dropped my bag on the couch, and collapsed into the chair. He stood there for a second, watching me, and then sat across from me. "You okay, man?" he asked gently, but there was a heaviness in his voice that matched the knot in my stomach. "I don't know," I whispered. I couldn't even meet his eyes. "I don't know if I can be okay anymore." The next few days were a blur. I didn't sleep much, didn't eat much. Every time I closed my eyes, I kept seeing that damn calendar in my mind. Her handwriting, the circles around the dates, the way she'd lied to my face. I couldn't shake it, couldn't make it stop. I kept replaying our conversations in my head, wondering where the warning signs had been, how I had missed them. How could I not have seen it? I tried to go about my day. I went to the gym, tried to distract myself with work, but everything felt hollow. I kept seeing couples everywhere I went. The world seemed to be reminding me of everything I'd lost. My mind wouldn't let me forget what had happened. But the hardest part was still the silence between Sarah and me. She hadn't texted. She hadn't called. Nothing. It was like she had simply evaporated from my life. But I couldn't erase her from my thoughts. I finally decided I needed answers. As much as I wanted to move on, as much as I wanted to bury it all and never look back, I needed to know the truth. I had to know how far this had gone. I needed closure, even if it meant ripping open the wound even further. So I texted her. Just one simple message. We need to talk. She responded almost immediately. I know. Can we meet tomorrow? Tomorrow. It felt like too long. I didn't want to wait. I needed to understand everything right then and there. But I agreed, and we made plans to meet at a cafe in the afternoon. When I walked into the cafe the next day, I spotted her immediately. She was sitting at a corner table, her eyes cast downward, her hands wrapped tightly around her coffee cup. She looked fragile, like someone who had been holding everything together for so long that one more crack would make her shatter. But I wasn't sure I felt sorry for her anymore. Not when she had done this to me. I stood there for a moment, trying to gather myself. I wasn't sure if I was angry, sad, or just exhausted from trying to make sense of it all. I didn't want to yell at her. I didn't want to scream. I just wanted the truth. Hey, I said, sitting down across from her. She didn't meet my eyes. Hey, she replied softly. Her voice was quiet, almost like she was afraid to speak too loud. We sat there for a moment in awkward silence. Neither of us knew where to start, or how to bridge the gap that had grown between us in such a short time. Finally, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I saw the calendar, Sarah. I said, my voice sharp but controlled. I saw the dates you circled. I saw your name next to his. How long were you planning this? Her face fell, and I could see the guilt and shame washing over her. Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't wipe them away. Ben, I didn't mean for it to happen. I didn't mean for it to get this far. I didn't know how to stop it. I leaned forward, my heart pounding in my chest. You didn't know how to stop it? You didn't think about what you were doing to me? You didn't think about how much this would hurt? I didn't know how to tell you, she said, her voice cracking. I thought I could figure it out without you ever finding out. I thought I could fix things, make it right. But I was stupid. I was scared, and I didn't know how to fix the mess I'd made. I swallowed hard, trying to keep my emotions in check. You thought you could fix it? By lying to me? By seeing him behind my back? How could you think that was ever going to work? How could you not tell me? We were supposed to be partners, Sarah. You were supposed to be honest with me. I know, she whispered, her hands trembling around her cup. I fucked up, Ben. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't deserve forgiveness. I leaned back in my chair, trying to process the flood of emotions that were threatening to overwhelm me. No, you don't, I said quietly, my voice barely audible. I don't know if I can forgive you. I don't know if I ever will. I could see her fighting tears, but she held them back. I don't expect you to, but please know that I never meant to hurt you. I didn't want to lose you. You already have, I said, the words coming out more harshly than I meant. Her face crumpled, and for a moment, I almost thought she might break down completely. But instead, she just sat there, staring at me, her lips pressed together in a tight line. We sat there for a while, not saying anything. I couldn't look at her. I couldn't bear to be in the same space, sharing air with someone who had broken my trust so completely. I think I need to go, I finally said, standing up. Sarah, I added, before she could say anything else. I don't know what's next. I don't know if we can fix this, but I can't pretend like nothing happened. I can't keep going through the motions, hoping it'll be okay when it's not. I understand, she said softly, tears now running down her face. I'm so sorry, Ben, but I couldn't say anything else. I just turned and walked out. I don't know what happens now. I don't know what comes next. I thought we were building a life together. I thought she was the one, but I'm not sure who she is anymore. I'm not sure who I am in this. I'm lost, and I don't know how to find my way out of this mess. I'm hurting, but I don't know how to heal. Has anyone else been through this? How do you even start to rebuild your life when it feels like everything you knew has just disappeared?